Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor, and this week it is just myself and Nathan in Rush's office. At least we have comfy chairs now.
Yeah, these chairs are really nice, and it's good because we have a lot to talk about. This is an exciting week. Hold on to your hats, people. We got some fucking juicy shit coming up. It's going to be good.
Oh my God.
Tell them about what we got.
It's incredible. Okay, I hope you guys are sitting down for this because this week we have the 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid and the 2025 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid in the garage at the same time.
As well as, like, we don't have it, but we're also talking about it. It's kind of a...
And then last week, we had the 2025 Mazda CX-50 Hybrid, which is a new addition to the segment. And I know what you're all thinking. These are all extremely boring,
competent, very good vehicles that a lot of people really care about. Compact crossovers are the best-selling vehicles by a distant fucking margin. And hybrids are more than half of vehicles now. This is the battle of the default car. Well, this is a big deal.
Well, I was going to start with that. But I was going to finish with that, so you basically took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, because we were going to lose them if we said they're boring.
But they kind of are to people like us. But at the same time, this is what people buy.
This is what people buy because these are good. Look how much fun I had with Lil Harv last year. That thing was the best. So good that I'm looking for Lil Harv now. I really, really like that.
Yeah. And my first words upon handing you back the keys to the CR-V Hybrid were, oh my God, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So let's start with that.
Do we want to start with the good one? So
fair.
This is not going to be the best discussion because we just agree. It's a three-way comparison, but there's no I like how this one does this. No, we just the Honda's a good one. Go by that.
Obviously.
It excels at literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single thing. So, okay, with that in mind, let's start with the first default choice then, the 2025 RAV4 Hybrid.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the RAV4 is actually, as I think we've discussed on this podcast before, is actually default car.
Absolutely.
It is the best-selling single vehicle on the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see... They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just everywhere.
I mean, all of these are everywhere, and the RAV4 is everywhere times two.
Yes.
They're everywhere.
Especially the hybrids.
Yeah. And that's because they're good.
They are.
They're good vehicles, and they offer a ton of value for the money.
Absolutely. I think that's the one area that the RAV4 easily, undoubtedly takes it over the CR-V Hybrid because the CR-V Hybrid it's locked behind the top two trim levels, but the RAV4 Hybrid you can get that powertrain with the base on the base RAV4.
Yeah,
the base LE all-wheel drive hybrid trim. That does exist if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, and I'm going to pull that up right now. You can get into a base RAV4 Hybrid from, it says 39.5 with dealer destination, all that. Typically take 2 off. So
crazy.
37.5.
Crazy.
That's ridiculously good value.
Yeah.
Whereas, as you were saying, Honda locks it out. You want the hybrid, you got to pony up.
Yep. They've gotten better about that, but we'll get into that a bit later. Okay, so the RAV4 Hybrid. It's, in a vacuum, it's a very competent entry into the segment.
Yeah.
It's been around... This current gen has been around since 2019. It was great back then. It's... I won't... I'm not sure if it's aged particularly well, considering what a lot of its competition is like these days.
I think, the issue is that, and we all, not even we, everyone in the business, used to kind of, what was the word I was looking for that just escaped me? You heard it leave there.
Ha. So it's with an H.
I was going to say ham. We used to ham Toyota. But it's a common critique that Toyota's always a generation behind.
Yep.
and they've updated most of their product portfolio.
They have.
The RAV4 is not one of those vehicles.
No. They've updated the stuff that matters. So the big thing, the one thing that really dated the RAV4 past model years of the current gen RAV4 was the infotainments. But they took care of that a couple of model years ago when they updated to the new system.
Yeah, and it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, so I was just out in yours a little while ago, and you have an even bigger screen than I remember. Is that new?
I do. Okay. Not new for this year. 2025 is it's very
just
much
a carryover year?
Very much a carryover year. Okay. I think so mad props to our friends at Toyota Canada. They deck out their press cars with like a handy little pamphlet that hangs above the rearview mirror.
That's so nice.
It's so helpful. It basically covers the changes for the model year. In the RAV4, the one thing that was on the little placard was like a new color combo. That's it.
Right. The new interior color combo, right?
Actually, no. It's just a different color for the woodland. Literally everything else is the same.
Okay, so something that I like about the RAV4, and this is going to matter to a lot of people, is that in the case of the Honda, which is objectively the best one,
yep,
you're kind of limited on colors. Whereas with the Toyota, you actually get like quite a bit of range, and you get a very lovely like two-tone like peanut butter and black interior, which
you do
makes it look a lot nicer than it actually is.
It does. I find the color goes a long way to making the interior look and feel nice.
Yeah. Because the one I had last year was just like relatively plain like black cloth, and it was fine. But it's very utilitarian. Whereas I got into yours out of my objectively much nicer CRV and said, ooh. And then I started driving it and said, oh.
Yeah. There's definitely a big parity between what Toyota does with the RAV4 and what they have been doing with their newer products. Like their new stuff, like the redesigned Prius, the redesigned Camry, the Grand Highlander, they all hit way above their weight in terms of interior appointments. This one's still kind of, it's solid, but the fit and finish isn't quite there compared to what Toyota's doing in their other cars now, much less their competitors.
I don't even know if fit and finish is the term that I would use because it's Toyota, right? Like they do not miss on fit and finish.
Like, you're right.
Like Honda, Toyota, Mazda, all of them, it's 10 out of 10 across the board.
Yeah.
But the material choice leave a bit to be desired. Yeah. Not to say that it doesn't feel like everything feels durable. It's a Toyota. It's going to last if like everything feels quality. It's just not nice. Whereas Honda and Mazda have gotten very good at making cars that like make you question what actually is a fucking luxury car anymore.
Everything in the RAV4, in the CRV Hybrid and the CX-50 Hybrid, for that matter, everything in those two cars felt nice.
Yeah, like looks and feels very nice.
Yeah. But the RAV4, there are certain spots, certain displays, certain switchgear. It's like, looks a little dated. It kind of dates the interior a little bit.
Definitely. It might be to some people's liking, right? Like, especially to a lot of Toyota's like legacy buyer base that just likes things simple. They're used to that Toyota language. They're not coming from something else and seeing that this is dated. It just, it's a new car. It's nice. Yeah. That's it. And it's simple, and I can use it with mittens on.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the simplicity. The climate controls, the knobs, the buttons, it's dead nuts easy to use. Even, you're right, even with gloves on.
Yeah.
Very, very roomy interior. I'm not pinched for headroom. Lots of legroom out back.
Yeah, lots of space in the back seat. Like, none of these vehicles are bad at anything.
No.
There's, like, little strengths and weaknesses, but none of them are bad at anything. They're all very good. There's a reason why they're, like, some of the 3 best sellers of the best-selling brands. They're very good.
Absolutely.
Toyota actually drives... If you don't just get out of a CRV, the Toyota drives pretty nice.
It does.
Yeah.
When I picked this up yesterday, Toyota is their regional head offices here. They're like right off the highway. So I put on a solid 100 kilometers between Toyota head office and home, and that's a great way to like get a feel for for its highway manners.
Yep.
Very quiet, very composed. If you're not flooring it.
Yeah. That's really... It's one of the oldest complaints about Toyotas, especially Toyota's hybrids. And Toyota's hybrid powertrains are like among the best in the industry, and they always have been. Like, they got this shit dialed in. They're very good at it, and making it feel natural and integrate seamlessly. And getting great fuel economy out of everything.
Yeah.
The caveat being that the gas engine that is bolted to this hybrid system is not to say that it doesn't work, but it's like one of the most coarse, loud, agricultural, just unpleasant engines you can buy.
Yes.
It feels like a generator and not a car's motor.
Absolutely. So, to that note, the RAV4 still uses the normally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
219 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Toyota don't do a combined torque figure, but the gas engine alone is good for, again, if I'm not mistaken, 163 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, like, you're not buying any of these to go fast.
Yeah.
But it's the way it kind of conducts itself, where you'll take off from a light on electric power, and then the gas engine will kick on with a big and you can like kind of motorboat it and like almost rev it while you're rolling as it kicks in and out. It's very audible, and it's not a nice audible. No. Especially in a car like this, you don't really want to hear it. Get out of the way.
No, and that's exactly it. A lot of, like, it is coarse, and like, you don't have that sense of the CVT sort of managing its revs well. Like
no.
Other
it feels very loosey-goosey.
It is. Stuff like the Hybrid Max powertrains. The relationship between the powertrain and the transmission is like so much smoother. They're so much smoother. They don't have that rubber band feeling, but you still get that in the RAV4.
Yeah, and actually the new Hybrid Max powertrains, they're quite different, like mechanically very different. They're built very much the same way Honda used to build their hybrids, so like they've kind of switched. Whereas like Honda's IMA, like integrated motor assist system, was basically like an electric motor that's set on the back of the engine, between the transmission and the engine.
Yep.
And was just kind of like an electrified flywheel acting as a small generator. So it was very like integrated right there.
Yep.
Whereas Toyota's always had like a separate motor unit, and now they've kind of flipped. Honda's doing a separate thing, and the Toyota Hybrid Maxes, not this RAV4,
correct,
are doing the inline integrated motor.
Yep.
This tech tangent.
So for all intents and purposes, this is like, it's still built on Toyota's last gen hybrid technology. Kind of it's hit and miss. It's a miss in terms of refinement, but it's still a hit in terms of fuel economy.
Yeah, but the refinement is not the fault of the hybrid layout. It's just the fault of the gas engine. It's just and honestly, like from an engineering side, I don't know why. Like, outside of raw engineering chops. And like making an engine smoother and more refined just by a better manufacturing process and better design, and like more consideration for acoustics and how air just flows through an engine. Like, it can't cost that much more to make an air intake quieter, right? And I'm sure like the firewall on that RAV4, especially this being a limited where it's like loaded, is probably already like pretty well padded. I actually don't know how Honda pulled off doing essentially the same idea, but making like a third as much of the noise. Like doing about the same amount of work, making the same power, getting about the same fuel economy, and making like less than half as much noise as the Toyota has done. I don't know how they pull that off.
There's a massive difference.
Yeah, and there's no trick. Like, it's not active noise canceling or anything. It's just, I don't know what it is. If it is just acoustic tuning, if it is just sound padding, if it is just Honda having some slick black magic with engine development, which I wouldn't put past them because they're good at that. Yeah, that's the only real knock against the RAV4. And like this hybrid layout, by allowing the engine to be so disconnected, allows it to be very, like, extremely efficient. The hybrid Maxes, like, aren't really meant to be efficient. They're meant to be powerful first.
Yeah, I remember with I remember somewhat of a tangent, but I remember with the Crown, the Platinum, got like 8.8 liters per 100K. And I remember thinking, this thing's fucking fast, but like for a hybrid, that's not that good.
But that's the thing, right? The hybrid Max is meant to be like more about augmenting performance while maintaining decent economy, whereas the earlier gen hybrids are just all about like throwing everything out the window in the name of economy. And they do well. Like you said, you were seeing when we were putting our notes together earlier. You said you were seeing like 6 and 6.3, 4 liters per 100 kilometers.
So far, 6.4, and
which is very healthy.
And on top of that, that's with a good bit of highway driving too. And you know, as we all know, hybrids aren't the most. They're much more efficient in stop and go city driving because then you have a
there isn't a big advantage.
So to be getting 6.4 with like a good chunk of that being highway is pretty fucking good. I do like the thing. It drives fine. I like it's new to me. I like the bigger screen in it. That is a measurable advantage it has over the Honda. It has a slightly bigger screen. And I'm not sure if you noticed because now you are of the iPhone, but the RAV4 does something not a lot of other car companies do. So when you're hooked up onto CarPlay,
which I still don't use,
despite now having an iPhone, you can basically choose between two display sizes. So I have one layout that keeps Toyota's built-in shortcuts on screen all the time.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, or if you want a wider view, just hit the two arrows at the top of the corner or in the corner of the screen.
Okay.
It kills the shortcuts from Toyota system. But it gives you more
real estate for...
It's a neat touch.
For CarPlay. That's actually really thoughtful. And in this segment of normal cars for normal people who just want a car to go places and be easy, that's a big deal.
The other thing that I really like about the RAV4, and again, it sort of plays into that sense of simplicity, and it also ties into its age because it's older, and it has the advantage of like having more outdated design, whatever. But that outdated design isn't necessarily a bad thing because there's a lot of physical switchgear in this thing. The one piece of physical switchgear I really like is the heated steering wheel button.
Where is it on this?
It's right above your left knee on like the row of buttons, like kind of in the corner of the dashboard.
Right.
And the heated steering wheel button has like a little click. So tap it, click it.
It's got a detent so it stays on.
Yes.
Yeah. Like physically stays on. Yeah.
Yes. And that's exactly it. It stays on all the time. On days like this week, that's a fucking godsend. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that in the Corolla Cross I had where the heat seaters were rocker switches. Just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
That was nice. I think Toyota's the only company that still does that. And part of it is like, that's so dated. And part of it is, no, like...
It's great.
It's nice.
It works.
Just fucking leave it on. Like...
Yeah.
It's kind of... I think you know what? I feel like at the lower end of the, like... equipment spectrum, I really like the RAV4 Hybrid.
Yeah.
But all of the vehicles we're talking about, the CR-V, the RAV4, and the CX-50 are all decked, loaded, like as nice as you can get. They're all around 50 grand.
Yeah.
And I start to lose sight of the value proposition of the RAV4 at that point. It still does okay. It's still the cheapest of the bunch. So the RAV4 comes in at $47,500. Which undercuts the Honda by $3,000 almost exactly, and undercuts the Mazda by $4,000.
Yeah.
So like they're only $4,000 apart, but the Toyota's I don't want to say cheap, but the inexpensive one of the three.
It makes it makes to me it makes more sense as like an
like an XLE, like
XLE,
a mid-grade one, yeah,
or an XSE, because you still have things like automatic climate control, heated seats, heated steering wheel.
Yeah, I think like the driver assist that I like in these cars, like your adaptive cruiser, is available on the standard one. Yeah, that's really what I'm here for.
Yeah, the only things you might give up is like
leather
seats. Yeah, probably a sunroof, smaller screen, but like all that stuff is like it like, sacrifices you can live with because it brings down the price a lot.
Quite a bit, yeah. And not to say this RAV4 doesn't feel nice. Like the two-tone leather is actually quite lovely, and I like this metallic blue on yours. Mm-hmm. Like it's got more visual snap to it, but I don't think it. Like if I wanted a RAV4 hybrid, I don't think it's the one I would pick.
Yeah, it makes more sense lower in the trim levels, which is a little different than how Honda does it. Yeah.
So the CR-V Touring Hybrid that I am in, Touring being Honda's speak for like decked out. Mm-hmm. As I said, is 50.5, so 50,500.
Yep.
And like once you get over the lack of a color wow, because it's just white on black.
Lame.
It's a lot nicer.
Yeah,
it's a lot fucking nicer. Yeah. Like it. We were saying this last year about Lil Harv. Every time we have a Honda, they always punch way above their weight. Mm-hmm. They never feel like an economy car. Mm-hmm. They never feel like you gave something up to have a little economical car. It just feels like you chose this one because you liked it because it's nice. Yeah. That's it. And the fact that it happens to be inexpensive is a bonus. Yeah. Not the reason why you picked it.
I agree. Having stayed parked beside you for most of the day in our parking lot, and looking at these two cars side by side, I would say the CR-V is definitely better looking. I don't know if you pick up on this, but it kind of looks a bit Volvo-like from certain angles.
A tiny bit. I was noticing that.
I see a good chunk of XC60 in the rear three-quarter. I'm like, you know what? That's pretty sharp looking.
Yeah. The new CR-V is handsome.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about it, but like this newest generation of CR3 is like actually a really handsome little vehicle.
Night and day difference inside.
Oh yeah. So much nicer. And this is something that I'm going to sound a little bit broken recordy because I mentioned this before, but like cohesiveness of material choices is so important. Yeah. And it's not expensive to do. Pick one material and put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Don't try and like woo anybody with like gray plastic, black plastic, leatherette, different grain of leatherette, aluminum. Like stop it. Yeah. Everything in that Honda is a coarse grain leather or plastic that matches the grain of the leather. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of metallic. And that's fucking it.
Yeah.
And that cohesiveness makes it look and feel immediately so much nicer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite points about like new Hondas over the last couple of years is like the feel of their switchgear, and this is such a small thing,
but it's nice.
It's so satisfying to use. Everything is just so satisfying to like play with and interact with in the CR-V. Everything just feels solid.
Yeah, all your touch points, the things that matter, the things that you interface with, all feel nice. Like when I got in it, because it was just detailed, all the vents were drunk and pointed in 100 directions, and I like them straight because I like them nice and even. And the little pointers that they have to direct the vents, they click into place at the center. Just a satisfying little snick.
Yeah. Like, it's so redundant in the grand scheme of things, but it feels so nice.
Yeah, it's just a nice little touch, and now I know, that's center for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's just like, so it's mentally calming too. It's nice.
Yeah.
The leather on the steering wheel is nicer. Mm-hmm. The seats are nicer. There's way more range of adjustment in them. Yeah. Higher, lower, more thigh support, more lumbar.
I'm not sure how much of a nitpick this is, but the CR-V heats, again, small thing, heats the whole wheel.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the CR-V only does 9 and 3.
You mean the CX-50? The CX-50 does 9 and 3.
Sorry, RAV4.
The RAV4 only does 9 and 3.
It does, okay. Correct.
Sad.
Yeah.
But heats the whole wheel. Heats up faster. Okay. Okay. I was thinking about this. I noticed it yesterday, and I noticed it again today. So it's not just different moods. It's a real thing.
Okay.
The climate control in the Honda is kind of wonky in that with the heated seat set to max,
Yeah.
it's hot. With it set to 2, you don't really notice it.
The climate control.
No, sorry, the heated seats.
Okay.
Right? So it's got 3 settings. On 3, it's like hot.
Yeah.
2 feels like it's not on.
Okay.
And 1, I haven't even bothered with 1 because 2 already feels like it's not on.
Huh.
And my feet are always cold.
Huh.
And I feel like there's nothing I can do to direct air or create more air to warm up my feet.
Aside from manually
No, even that.
Even manually overriding.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because we all insist on auto climate. We all keep our cars around 21, 22.
Yep.
I got that Honda at 24.
So that's why the temperature was like, I got into it, I was like, what the fuck is it at 24? What the hell?
Like it varies. Like GMs run cold, so we keep them a little warm, and vice versa, right? I've got that Honda at 21 or 24.
Huh. Interesting.
Little tiny nitpick shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's my only complaint with it. It's otherwise flawless. Also, that gauge cluster is so nice.
I do like the split analog speedometer and the digital and the configurable digital section.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's cool.
I love Honda's infotainment. It's so brain dead. It looks nice.
Yep.
It's a great marriage of dumb simplicity. Anyone can figure this out, and it's snappy and sharp. But it some infotainments, Kia's does this, where it tries to look really slick, and in doing so, can be kind of hard to navigate sometimes. Yeah. Honda does not do this. They got a great balance between easy and slick.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Plus, I like the fact that the CRV still has a tuning knob.
It does? I don't think it does. I think it's just the volume knob.
Am I picturing the interior wrong?
I think you are.
I think I am. I take that back.
I think you are. I think does the RAV4 have a tuning knob?
The RAV4 doesn't, but I swear Honda still did a tuning. What the hell?
I don't think they, at least not on this. Because remember, I think I was looking for it yesterday.
Oh.
But the tune controls on screen are really nice, so it's fine.
Yeah, it works a lot easier than the RAV4s. You have to, with the RAV4...
You gotta almost back out and then...
You do. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in a music menu, when you're on FM or XM, whatever, you basically have to return to the list of audio sources 2 menu screens back.
Yeah, to get to the manual tuner and then pick what frequency you're on, and it's kind of that system works generally quite well, but it's bad at that, and that's annoying because that's the thing I use the most in press cars because I don't fuck with Apple CarPlay.
See, if you fucked with Apple CarPlay, you would have been fine. By most other accounts, the CRV it's still pretty roomy. Good passenger space, good headroom, good legroom. The hybrid guts don't really impact passenger space. The one thing where the CRV just nearly kills everything else in this segment is cargo space. This is bigger than the RAV4 and the CX-50 by a large margin.
Yeah, so and that's not a knock against either of those. Right? The CX-50 and the RAV4 both have a good amount of cargo space and pretty commodious back seats. No one's going to bitch about sitting in the back of either of those. But the CRV has an extra 3, a long wheelbase version of a car, 3 extra inches of rear leg room.
Yep.
And then for cargo volume, it's a slam dunk. There's 10 extra cubic feet over the CX-50.
That's nuts. 3
more over the RAV4. And then with everything folded down, it just gets worse.
Worse / better, depending on depending on who you ask.
Yeah, Honda's always been really good about that. Maximizing usable room.
The other thing, again, this is more qualitative, but. Or is it quantitative? I don't know. The RAV4 does have a slightly lower floor than the others. So if you care about that kind of thing, it's kind of easier to load heavier things into the RAV4 Hybrid than it is in the... Sorry. letters.
This is confusing.
This is very confusing.
Should we name like Bill, Tim, and Jimothy?
Fucking. This is Tim's fault. This is all Tim's fault. The CRV,
Honda, Toyota, Mazda.
the Honda,
They have men's names attached to them. Let's use them.
They do.
Yeah.
The Honda has a lower cargo floor. So if you care about things like loading heavier things into your cargo area, it's easier to it's
easier to get shit in it. Like, and a lower lift over is actually like a big thing for going to Costco, throwing a stroller in the back of it. Like, these are normal cars for normal people, and that's what normal people do. They have strollers at Costco.
Yeah.
Right? That's my only understanding of what normal people do.
That's what people do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit right. But yeah, if you care about that stuff, the RAV4 does have a lower lift over height.
The RAV4 does.
God damn it, the CRV.
The Honda does, yeah.
The Honda does.
So it has more cargo space. It is larger and flatter and easier to get into.
Yeah.
It's better in every way.
Yeah. And it has a better interior.
And it has a nicer interior, and it drives way better. So, like, the powertrain's quieter, like a lot quieter. I'm getting marginally better fuel economy at 6.1 liters per 100 versus your 6.4.
It's a draw, but still very good. But yeah, the CRV is a little better on gas.
Yeah. The chassis is on another planet. Like the RAV4 is again, it's fine. It's fine on its own, but fine is the best I can say about it. It's kind of floaty, kind of sloppy, kind of numb. Get into a CRV and go, oh, this is what you mean. This is good.
That's exactly it. Drive them back to back and you really notice the CRV's differences. It's much peppier. The CVT is much better behaved. It feels more natural. It tunes out that the motorboating sensation almost completely.
Yeah, the steering's a lot sharper. The chassis is a lot more dialed in. The body control's way better. It's not floaty.
Yeah.
And this is not like the meme where every journalist wants every car to be a race car, so the sporty one wins everything. That's not the case. Like, the CRV doesn't feel like it's trying to be anything it isn't. It just feels much more nicely executed and much more direct.
Absolutely.
And confidence inspiring.
Yep. Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. It's just
like
it's just solid, nicer.
It's a solid pick. The only thing where it sort of loses me just a little bit, and
you're wrong.
And I touched on this earlier.
Nope.
I don't care what you, I don't care what you think.
Nope.
I don't necessarily like how Honda locks the good powertrain behind the most expensive trim levels.
Okay.
They've gotten better at that because correct me if I'm wrong, but you can get the hybrid on the EXL for a couple of years now.
I think I saw that. Yeah. But either way, like, even an EXL is getting to be a rather pretty penny.
Yes.
Right. So let me pull that up really quick while you fill the air with other things.
Okay.
But yeah, like, so this loaded Honda Touring is like $50,500.
Yeah.
54.5 like delivered.
Yeah.
So not cheap.
No.
It never feels cheap, which kind of works for it, right? For effectively, it works out to be like $3 and change more than the RAV4. I think it more than justifies itself. Mm-hmm. But that's also, like, I don't know, that's another year of payments.
Okay, let me also let me put it into perspective this way. The Santa Fe Hybrid, the brand new Santa Fe Hybrid, which is a much larger 3-row SUV that kind of resembles a Land Rover Defender and feels just as nice, just as roomy inside. That's about $47,000. And that's a 3-row.
Hyundai Kia are pulling some shit, though. Like, because we ran into this last week, 2 weeks ago, with the EV9, EV6, EV9. What were we in?
EV6.
No, it wasn't EV6. It was an EV9, the big SUV.
Sorry, yeah. Numbers.
Where that was bigger, a lot bigger, not less nice, and cheaper than our Volvos.
Than the Volvos we had.
Yeah.
Than the
and they're
EX.
pulling that shit again.
Yeah, they are.
To circle back around really fast to the pricing of the CRVs, the number I was just looking at when I said 54 included a couple of options like all-weather mats and stuff. Yep. So CRV Touring Hybrid, like the one we have, It's 52.7, and the Honda's listed selling price at the dealer, delivered, etc.
Yep.
The cheapest you can get into an EX, like CRV hybrid, is, like you said, the EXL. You're right, and that is $2,500 less. But that's the floor for a Honda CRV hybrid.
Dude, it's still over 50.
Yeah, whereas the RAV4's floor is more than 10 less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the Santa Fe hybrid exists. It's a 3-row. It's 47 and change for the hybrid.
Yeah.
So it's pricey, but I can kind of see where the money goes.
I see where it goes because it's a very nice vehicle. Like between those, I take the Honda every time without blinking because it's just that much nicer, that much more accomplished. It feels like, oh, this is where the money went. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I don't feel that about the others. I also just like the way Honda does things, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Honda does a good job justifying itself, whereas the RAV4, especially in its lighter trims, offers, I think, a better value. It starts to struggle a bit in this upper echelon, but it's a compelling package.
It almost kind of makes me think, like, you know, maybe the CX-50 Hybrid is like the best middle ground between the two. Because it kind of takes, like, it's literally the RAV4's powertrain, very efficient powertrain, in Mazda packaging that's like much nicer than almost anything else in the segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Mazda CX-50 Hybrid. So that one is new for this year.
Yeah,
and that in this spec, again, loaded, right? Mm-hmm. Splits the two at 48,350.
Yeah.
So just to recap, the RAV4 was 47 and change. This is 1,000 more, and then 3 more again for the CRV.
Almost worth it, I think.
I think so. The CRV is also. I'm not going to say it's. I think the Mazda and the CRV feel about as nice.
That's where my head's at too.
Yeah. I think the CX-50 is probably the most handsome of the bunch.
Hands down.
Very nicely appointed inside. Mm-hmm. Very nice utilitarian squared off interior. Similar in layout to the Honda.
Yeah.
With Mazda's human interface system with the fake iDrive knob and stuff. Mm-hmm. I like that system. It works pretty well.
Technically, the main knob, in a way, doubles as a tuning knob.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, I like it. It's nice. Ours is Mazda Soul Red, which is always gorgeous with like their terracotta, two-tone black and, terracotta leather. Mm-hmm. So like it looks nice, it feels nice. And I think especially because colors, right? Honda doesn't do colors, and it really works against making the CRV look as nice as it could. Mm-hmm. Because the CX-50 and the RAV4 have some pop, they both have more of an immediate wow factor, which is a thing dealers really like.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you get that first impression, that strong first impression. The Honda doesn't do that. It goes for more like, just be nice.
Yeah.
They'll get it. But yeah, the CX-50 looks nice. It feels nice. Mazda's very good, as is Honda, at punching above their weight and making inexpensive materials go a long way. Yep. And making touch points work. Not as well as Honda.
I agree. There are. I've always felt. This will sound extremely pedantic, but I've always felt there's maybe a bit too much scratchy black plastic in the 650, considering Mazda's whole like upmarket shtick.
Yep.
Then again, I'd also say that interior also looks and feels much nicer than the RAV4.
Yeah, I think like the RAV4 is, I don't mean as a smack, but just because of what it is and how it's meant to be so utilitarian, the RAV4 is by a pretty good margin the least nice of the three. Yeah. Not bad, just least nice. Yeah. I think the CX-50 looks the nicest and the Honda feels the nicest.
Yeah. Yeah.
All three are very good. The Mazda and Honda are like top of their class.
I agree with that. On powertrain wise, it's basically a RAV4 hybrid hybrid underneath.
It's a direct lift. It's a direct lift out of the RAV4 Hybrid.
Yep.
And it carries all the same pluses and minuses.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the trans tuning maybe was a little better on the Mazda. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't spend enough time with it.
Yeah.
It felt a little less motorboaty to me, but I am not sure.
Yeah. So I took a first spin around the block last week. I also did the launch a few months prior.
Yep.
I feel like I feel like Mazda might have put in some maybe a little bit of extra sound deadening, maybe a slightly different transmission tuning, because I did find it less motorboaty than the RAV4 Hybrid.
Yeah, ever so marginally nicer. Noticeably less nice than Mazda's own gas powertrain. Yeah.
And that actually surprised me that Mazda didn't keep their Skyactiv 4-cylinder in the CX-50 Hybrid.
Yeah, I guess they figured it was probably just easier to, instead of developing a hybrid powertrain.
Yeah.
Or trying to adapt Toyota's to theirs, just use Toyota's engine too. Because it's a good engine. It's not going to burn them in warranty costs in the long run, right?
Well, absolutely not. That being said, I remember Mazda did do some pretty extensive work trying to, with the front suspension and the subframe, I believe, the suspension and the subframe, they basically moved a lot of stuff around.
Yeah.
In order to accommodate Toyota's engine.
Yeah.
So I guess that would have been cheaper just to just do all that instead of trying to make their Skyactiv work with the hybrid powertrain.
Probably because I can see how it would be confusing.
Yeah.
You have a good engine and why not just develop your own hybrid system?
Yeah.
And I think the only explanation that I can kind of theorize for that is that, and we tend to forget this, but Mazda is a small company. They're not a small company, but compared to Honda and compared to the corporate mega giant that is Toyota, Mazda's a small little independent company. And their powertrain development is already tied up with the refining the new straight six and the mild hybrid system of that. And they're probably working on a mild hybrid version of their existing 4-cylinder.
Yep.
So there's probably a bunch of shit they already have in play with stuff that they want to spread out amongst their cars, whereas we need an answer to the Honda Hybrid and the Toyota Hybrid now.
Right now.
Let's get the Toyota Hybrid.
Yeah. That makes sense. And on top of that, I'll try not to get too deep into this. I'll try not to get too deep into this tangent, but with the upcoming Forester and Crosstrek Hybrid, again, same hybrid powertrain as Toyota. It's all Toyota's hybrid bits, but Subaru being Subaru, they
insisted on keeping their Boxster.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, Subaru's kind of putting all their eggs into that basket. So, they probably do have a few more dollars and cents to make their engine work.
They also were probably able to lean on Toyota a bit for engineering support to adapt it because they already have that existing partnership.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile,
whereas Mazda is just
they're still
purchasing it.
Yeah, they're still in bed together, but not to the extent as Subaru is.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So it is a competent powertrain. It's fine, but it's the same because it's the Toyota powertrain. It's the same issue as the Toyota car.
Yeah.
It's loud. It's unrefined. It's kind of coarse. It doesn't sound nice. It feels like it sort of kicks on and off semi-arbitrarily. It's just kind of not the best. And it feels, as I said before, it feels notable next to a gas Mazda.
Yeah.
Because their existing 4-poppers are like Honda level refinement. Yeah. They're very slick. They're very quiet.
And they sound really good too.
And they sound
for
nice.
A 4-cylinder.
Yeah. But it works.
Yeah.
And what was the fuel economy I was seeing like 6 and change. I don't remember. I only drove it briefly to get photos of it.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah, so they're probably about the same. They're all about the same size and the same weight.
Mid 6s, maybe 7s if you're really inefficient, but but they all sort of punch in around like the mid 6 range in terms of real world fuel economy.
Yeah. I think the only knock against the Mazda, and it's not a knock, it's just different.
Yeah.
In exchange for being nicer and more upscaley, it is smaller. It is noticeably smaller inside than the other two.
That's always been a Mazda thing.
It's not tight, but just smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much tighter is it?
Legroom is neck and neck with the Toyota.
Yep.
And behind the Honda by a distant margin. Cargo is pretty far behind both.
Interesting. Okay.
I just had these up.
That's fine.
Like you're losing, like with all the seats up, you're losing 150 liters behind the Toyota.
That's
and then 400 with the seats down. Like you're losing a good amount of volume.
Yeah, that's not insignificant.
Not insignificant. So for 48-ish, you get utilitarian or nice.
Yeah.
And then for 3 more, you get both.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much, that tracks. You know, if the RAV4 to me makes sense, the RAV4 Hybrid to me makes sense lower in the lineup.
Yeah, it feels a little, and I don't mean this as a slight, the RAV4 is a very good vehicle, but it feels just a tiny bit outclassed here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the CR-V is just nice.
It's just
all
nice.
around.
Yeah.
But you pay for it.
Yeah, and I'd say that, like Honda and Mazda are both very good at this. Like their vehicles just feel nice, and especially like they wear their upper trims very, very well, and they feel like, oh yeah, I get what I paid for here.
And meanwhile, to me, like the CX-50 Hybrid is like it's literally the middle ground between the two.
Yeah,
it has the same powertrain as a RAV4, same fuel economy, same quirks for better or worse. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you do get a slightly nicer interior.
You get a much nicer interior than the RAV4, I think.
Yeah.
You get much better chassis, much better handling.
Yeah.
Slightly more drivetrain refinement because I think Mazda's thrown a little more insulation on that. That's kind of what I was getting at when I asked, like, how did Honda do it? How has Toyota not done it? Because Mazda's had an opportunity to add that extra insulation in this different vehicle.
Yeah.
And even they couldn't get that engine to behave itself and be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to wonder, like, what Honda did on a like mechanical level to make their little naturally aspirated Atkinson cycle engine so much more refined than Toyota's.
I believe it's called witchcraft.
Yeah, they're good at that.
So, to sum up, RAV4 Hybrid, good. Lower in the trim levels.
Yeah. We like it. We don't love the Limited.
Yeah.
Get an XSE.
Yeah.
They're very good.
Yeah.
I love the one I had like 2 years ago. That thing was great. For $40,000, it was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. CR-V Hybrid, great all around. Prepare to spend accordingly.
Yeah.
But you kind of get what you pay for.
Yeah, you're definitely getting what you're paying for, but you are paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And CX-50 Hybrid, probably
the most fun.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, best of both worlds.
Most fun, nicest and second nicest inside. Definitely nicer than the RAV4. Maybe not as nice as the CR-V.
Yeah.
Little tighter inside.
Little tighter. You give a little, you get a little.
But definitely the prettiest and definitely probably the most fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not like definitely go get this one.
Yeah.
Like, while the CR-V is the very much a clear-cut winner.
Yep.
They're all worth checking out.
They're
all worth checking out because they go about things quite differently.
And there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
There's really no wrong answer here.
Yeah. There's no, like, I don't get why you did this. Like, they're all good.
It just comes down to, like, personal preferences and, personal tastes, personal preferences, and whether or not and how much switchgear you like inside.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're all good vehicles. They're all efficient. They're all safe. They all drive. They mostly drive really well.
Mostly drive the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, Honda. You did it again.
Bravo. And that takes us to the end of this week's episode. I didn't think it was possible to fill almost an hour talking about crossovers, but we fucking did it.
It's winter, man. We don't got a lot else going on. We got to fill the air with something.
Speaking of things going on, Nathan, what are we doing next week? We're doing some exciting stuff next week.
Are we?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
The auto show.
Oh, that's right.
So next Thursday, we will be coming at you from the Toronto Auto Show. We do plan on recording there. So our episode will be probably a day later because Media Day is Thursday. So you'll probably be hearing us on Friday of next week. Until then, if you wish to keep tabs on our automotive misadventures, I can never get through that line. If you wish to keep tabs on our automotive misadventures,
your line. Why don't you just rewrite the line?
If you wish to keep tabs on our automotive God damn it.
If you want to see the stuff we're doing, it's Double Clutch. Just check it out. Just Google it and see what comes up.
Find us on socials, doubleclutch.ca.
Yeah.
And, we'll see you at the auto show next week. And last but not least, thanks for listening, Nathan's mom.